Join me as I take on the challenge of breaking free from the habit of comparing myself to others and discovering the secret to true self-confidence. Self-confidence is the foundation upon which we build our lives, and yet, so many of us struggle to cultivate it because we're constantly comparing ourselves to others. We look at someone else's achievements, their possessions, their relationships, and we can't help but feel like we're not good enough. But the truth is, comparing ourselves to others is a losing game, because there will always be someone who seems better, stronger, or more successful than us. When we compare ourselves to others, we set ourselves up for feelings of inadequacy and low self-esteem. We start to doubt our own abilities, our own worth, and our own value. We begin to feel like we're not good enough, like we're not doing enough, and like we're not enough. And that's a vicious cycle, because the more we compare, the more we feel like we're falling short. I know firsthand how debilitating comparison can be. It's like being stuck in a never-ending competition, where you're always trying to one-up someone else, but never actually feeling like you're winning. It's exhausting, it's demotivating, and it's completely unnecessary. Because the truth is, we're all on our own journeys, with our own unique strengths, weaknesses, and experiences. Comparison also leads to a constant focus on what others have, rather than what we have. We start to focus on what's lacking in our lives, rather than what we're grateful for. We start to feel like we're missing out, like we're not living up to our potential, and like we're not good enough. And that's a toxic mindset, because it's rooted in scarcity, rather than abundance. Social media has only made things worse, because it's created a platform for people to curate their highlight reels, to show off their accomplishments, and to hide their struggles. It's created a false sense of reality, where everyone seems to be living their best lives, except for us. And that's just not true. Everyone has their own struggles, everyone has their own doubts, and everyone has their own fears. So, what's driving this need to compare ourselves to others? I think it's a deep-seated fear of not being enough, of not being worthy, of not being loved. We think that if we can just be more like someone else, we'll finally feel like we're enough. But the truth is, that's just not how it works. Because no matter how much we achieve, no matter how much we acquire, and no matter how much we accomplish, we'll always feel like something is missing. For me, the turning point came when I realized that I was comparing my behind the scenes to everyone else's highlight reels. I was comparing my struggles to their strengths, my weaknesses to their accomplishments. And that's just not fair, because it's not a level playing field. We're all on our own journeys, with our own unique struggles and our own unique strengths. As I started to focus on my own journey, rather than comparing myself to others, I started to feel a sense of peace, a sense of contentment, and a sense of self-acceptance. I started to realize that my worth wasn't tied to my accomplishments, my possessions, or my relationships. My worth was tied to who I was as a person, to my values, to my strengths, and to my weaknesses. The key to self-confidence is not to compare ourselves to others, but to focus on our own growth, our own progress, and our own journey. It's to recognize that we're all works in progress, that we're all struggling, and that we're all doing the best we can. It's to focus on what we have, rather than what we lack, and to cultivate a sense of gratitude, rather than a sense of scarcity. So, if you're tired of comparing yourself to others, if you're tired of feeling like you're not good enough, and if you're tired of living someone else's dream, then it's time to make a change. It's time to focus on your own journey, your own strengths, and your own weaknesses. It's time to cultivate a sense of self-acceptance, a sense of self-love, and a sense of self-confidence. Thanks for watching, and I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. Have you struggled with comparison, and how have you overcome it? Let's continue the conversation, and don't forget to check out my next video on building self-esteem.